Do you know when you just have something on your to-do list and it feels like you can just never get it off? Well, this was one of those things for me. But finally getting it done was an absolute game changer for me. It motivates me a lot more in just my regular day-to-day life. And honestly, it just helps me be more creative, period. If you're a videographer like me, then you probably love being in the field and capturing awesome moments to share with tons of people. It's one of the things that I love the most about my job, and one of the things that I think everybody in this line of work loves the most about their jobs. And if you're like me, then you also probably have tons of hard drives sitting around that have years and years worth of footage on them, some of which I'm sure you haven't looked at in probably what seems like forever. What you probably haven't thought to do, and it's something that I also didn't think to do for a number of years, is to go through those hard drives and repurpose some of that work into physical form. I didn't even think that putting work into a physical form was possible as a videographer for a very long time. And how would we do that? We capture moving images, which are traditionally displayed on screens. So how would we make that tangible? Doesn't really make sense. I thought about this a while ago and only really got to it now, but well, actually it's probably better that I show you rather than I tell you. But I finally went through the process of getting some specific frames from specific clips on a bunch of old hard drives printed in physical form on my wall, as you can see right here. And it honestly had a much bigger positive impact on my everyday as a videographer than I could have possibly thought. Firstly, seeing a tangible reminder of my work every day has been a really good source of motivation, because even though as filmmakers and videographers, we love our work and we love what we get to do every day, there might be a day where you don't want to go to that 6th shoot in a row if you've done 5 shoot days prior to that. Or maybe you don't want to sit down for another 8-hour edit day if you've only been looking at the same project for a week straight. And I get that, but for me, just coming in here and being able to see the result of all that work and how proud I feel after completing that type of project, it makes me want to sit down and do my best work, even if I'm feeling a little bit drained and a little bit burnt out. But I'm getting more positive creative time doing better work and feeling better about myself while I do it, because I'm reminded of the end result and how much I value that. And it's really helping me do my best work. On that note, you want to pick frames that have some sort of sentimental value to you. At least I tried to do my very best. So this frame right here, it just reminds me of like a lot of the good times that I had this past summer filming at BMO Field, which is the football stadium here in Toronto. It was kind of like my first big deep dive into football this summer, and it was such a great learning experience for me. I met a bunch of people and learned a bunch of new skills, and those like hot Toronto summer days out filming football on the weekend, like it's one of the best memories I have from the past couple of years. I really value that, and this shot right here is one of my favorite shots from that time. So got it printed nice and big on the wall. Basically what I'm trying to say with all of this is that the key, at least what I found when I was going through this process, is picking shots that you have some sort of emotional attachment to, that remind you of a specific memory that makes you happy or that you can relate to positively in some way, shape, or form. Now there are tons of ways to display your work. I chose to get prints and frame them and do sort of a gallery wall, and I'm gonna probably move these photos around, and this gallery wall is going to be a constant work in progress. But you can get 1 or 2 photos blown up super big in frames. You can just get a bunch of posters and put them all up together. You can get your photos printed on canvas like a painting. Literally anything you want. There's a ton of possibilities out there. But just kind of going through what I did so that you can get started on doing this yourself. I got my big print printed with a company called Poster Jack, which I'm pretty sure is a Canadian company, but they do really nice high quality prints. This video is not sponsored or anything, but I'm just really happy with the products that they gave me, and I thought they were fairly reasonably priced, so that was really nice. They also shipped to me in like a couple days, so at least if you're Canadian and watching this, I would recommend checking them out. They didn't sponsor me, but they did give me a referral link on my purchase. So if you want to go get photos printed using their services, I'm going to have a link in the description that you can go check out. And then the smaller photos they have on my wall, I just got printed at Staples because Poster Jack didn't offer that smaller size. Staples quality was still pretty good. The colors weren't quite as accurate as Poster Jack, but also you're talking about an office supply store versus a specialized printing company. So you kind of expect there to be a little bit of a differential there. Either way, I thought all the photos came back looking good. And then I went and got frames from IKEA, specifically this frame right here. And I grabbed all the frames that I wanted. First, imagined how I could lay them out in a gallery wall and looked at some inspiration for how people have laid gallery walls out. Then, once I had all my frames, I took all the specific still images from videos that I wanted to get printed, cropped them to be the specific aspect ratio that I needed them to be to fit perfectly into the frames that I got, and then sent them off for printing online. Once they actually got in, then I took all of my finished prints, put them into their specific frames, and then just on the ground I laid all the different pictures out in different formats to try to figure out what I like in terms of a gallery wall and come up with something that's kind of symmetric and visually pleasing, but not so symmetric that it's like weird how boxy and square everything looks, which is a super subjective thing and I can't tell you how to do it. You just gotta play with it and find out what you like. So do that on the ground first, and then using command hooks and command strips, which I got at IKEA and at the dollar store, I put up all my frames on the wall using, of course, a tape measure and a level to make sure everything was equal distance apart and level. And after a few hours, this is what I had. And it's not the greatest gallery wall in the world by any stretch of the imagination. And there's definitely changes that I want to make to it as I continue building upon it with cool shots that I get this coming year. But it's nice and I'm proud of it and it makes me happy. And that's kind of the most important thing with projects like this, is that they make you happy and they give you confidence. If you're ever in some sort of creative slump and you feel like you can't do a certain project or you're just feeling unmotivated, you can look at a wall like this that you've created and say to yourself, wow, I created all of these cool moments. Like, this is my work and I did all these cool things attached to these photos. And it just reassures you that you can get through whatever project you're getting through. No video is too big and you are good enough to get whatever's on your plate finished and to do it at a professional level. That's at least how I feel about this. In time, I'm hoping to revisit the projects on my wall, not only for nostalgia purposes, but also to analyze them critically and think about things that I could have done better and things that I maybe did well and haven't been doing much of recently, so that I can make sure that I'm always improving my skills and getting better year over year to just be overall a better videographer. I know that seems like a lot for just some still images on the wall, but I really do think that they're that valuable. And although I didn't do this for years and I'm kind of disappointed in that now, I'm really happy that I have my work in physical form around my being, I guess, all the time. I guess the gist of all of this is that I think that having your work in physical form is important and you should take the time to appreciate and showcase your own creativity. Anyways, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel because I post videography and video editing tips and tutorial videos on a regular basis and I would love to have you around for that. Drop a comment. Have you ever thought to put your work in physical form as a videographer? And if you do, how do you display it? I would love to hear from you, not only just to have a good conversation, but I'm genuinely curious because this is something I want to do more of. And if you have good ideas for how you managed to make your office reflect more of your work, then I actually do legitimately want to know. But anyways, all that to say, thank you. Let's have a chat and I'll see you next time. Peace.